Deputy Independent Counsel and former Assistant U.S. Attorney, and Mike Davis, founder and president of the Article 3 Project. Saul, how does Garland, an experienced lawyer and judge, not know about the special counsel's requirements?
Oh, he knows about it. And it was just the height of hypocrisy for him to say in his press conference, pursuant to the regulations, I'm appointing David Weiss as special counsel, because it's laid out right there. You have to be not just outside the Department of Justice, you have to be outside the United States government. I think the answer to your question is whether or not he's blind or corrupt. The answer is he's really doesn't seem to be in charge of the Justice Department. I think the number 2 person there is in charge.
And she is?
Lisa Monaco, the Deputy Attorney General, who I think is the one who got on the phone with David Weiss and said, no, you're not going to have authority to bring this case in any district you want to bring it in. And of course, I agree with everyone else who has commented that it is ridiculous. You have a tainted investigation that clearly has been tainted and compromised, and David Weiss has been the person in charge of it. Now, he might not be responsible for all of the mistakes and the slow walking that have been made, but he is ultimately responsible because he's the person in charge, and his integrity has been compromised by the letters he wrote saying he was in complete authority, totally inconsistent with what we know he told his investigators. So it is a continuation of the cover-up to have him as special counsel.
Now, Mike, on MSNBC today, not surprisingly perhaps, they were praising this decision to appoint Weiss.
This decision to make Weiss a special counsel is another marker that DOJ is renewing its independence during the Biden administration. This insulates decision-making about the president's son from political appointees.
Mike, that MSNBC, that they're happy, kind of tells you all you need to know here.
Why did Attorney General Merrick Garland wait 30 months to make a special counsel appointment here, and why did he pick David Weiss? And the answer is that he picked David Weiss because David Weiss has proven to be a loyal Biden foot soldier within the Justice Department, and they did it now because they ran into a roadblock in Delaware called Judge Nareka, who called into question this sweetheart deal for Hunter Biden that Weiss put together. So they're using this special counsel appointment as cover to make Garland look tough, when actually what they're doing is they're going to move this case to D.C. or California to protect Biden.
Well, at this point, Saul, is there any way to challenge, or any point in challenging, Weiss's eligibility to be special counsel, given the regulations?
No, in fact, you can't do that. It's a part of the regulations that they're not enforceable in court. But here's a very key thing that nobody is talking about, Laura. That plea deal that Mike was talking about that blew up had 2 parts, the plea agreement and what's called a pretrial diversion agreement. That diversion agreement is for the felony gun charge that after 2 years was going to be completely dismissed and would be erased from Hunter's record. But within that diversion agreement was the paragraph, the hidden paragraph that they didn't even show to the judge to the last minute, that arguably gave him broad immunity. And here's what no one's talking about. The Biden defense team might very well move to enforce that pretrial diversion agreement. David Schoen, who was on your show with me a few weeks ago, suggested that they do that. And boy, if they do that, it doesn't matter who, and they win, it doesn't matter who the special counsel is.
Saul, Mike, thanks so much. Now, one of the assumed byproducts of this announcement is